Today we have with us Comrade Prakash Karat, member of the Politburo CPIM. We welcome him. Wish you a happy new year.
Thank you.
But do you think that happiness is really waiting for the common people of our country in 2023?
That's a very difficult question to answer because people always have aspirations that the new year will bring them some joy and happiness. But unfortunately, the experience of the past few years show that the common people have to wait for a much longer time to see that their own wishes and desires are fulfilled. But I think this will be a year in which the people will also assert themselves and try to bring the rulers to account for their current state of affairs.
You recently, many times, you have identified the Hindutva project of BJP. Do you think that the big corporate business of our country, why they are supporting this Hindutva project? There are many other bourgeois parties.
The unique aspect of the current regime, the Modi government, is that it is based on an alliance between the Hindutva forces and the corporates in our country. To put it in other ways, both the RSS, which is the main organization of Hindutva, and the big business or big bourgeoisie of our country find it in their interest to have this alliance. It serves their mutual interest. The big corporates have a party and government which is pushing neoliberal policies which are in the interest of the big business and corporates, and the corporates are backing the Hindutva forces because they feel the Hindutva ideology and the brand of authoritarianism which Hindutva propagates will help to bring stability in the country, serve the interests of the big bourgeoisie. So it's a mutually beneficial alliance.
To defend the secularism of our constitution, apart from the political oppositions, there are judiciary also. They have constitutional authority. But do you think that judiciary is recently losing their independence?
Well, for the past 8.5 years, since the BJP first came to government in 2014, we have seen systematic efforts to subvert the constitution from within and subvert the independence or autonomy of the various constitutional bodies like the judiciary, parliament, the bureaucracy. All of them are being suborned to serve the interests of the government in power. So the judiciary is also a target, and the recent controversy or the questions raised by the Union Law Minister that the government must have a say in the appointment of judges shows that they want to fix the judiciary and get a committed judiciary committed to their cause. And that is why we are finding increasing criticism of the Supreme Court by the Modi government. It is very important that the Supreme Court maintains a degree of autonomy from the executive, and that is why we will oppose strongly any effort to bring about appointment of judges in which the executive will have the main say. We cannot support such a system.
Another important character of our constitution, the federalism of our country. Some southern states, particularly the Kerala Chief Minister, alleging that the center is encroaching the federal right of the states.
Yes, I think all the non-BJP ruled states are raising the same question. The Modi government, as part of its authoritarian drive to concentrate all powers in its hands and to subdue or subvert the independence of other constitutional bodies, is also attacking federalism. It wants to centralize all powers in its hands, and thereby they want to deny the states their due rights, rights in finances, rights to get a due share of the taxes and resources, the rights of the state in various spheres. For example, on education and health, these are concurrent subjects in the constitution, but increasingly the government, central government, is encroaching on these spheres. And against the opposition-led governments, the governors are being used to interfere in the running of the affairs of the state government, where the governor has no role. In Kerala, the issue has been about vice chancellors. The governor is determined to appoint vice chancellors of his choice, not allowing the state government and the state laws. Legislature has passed laws for all these universities. He doesn't want to go by those laws. So this is an overall attack on federalism and is part of the Hindutva authoritarian drive. And therefore, the effort should be to see that all the opposition-ruled states come together to raise what are their burning issues. For example, GST, their compensation has not been still paid. Increasingly, the central government is levying cesses. Instead of taxes, they say it's a cess on petrol or diesel. When they put a special duty like cess, then they don't have to share that with the state government, because otherwise all taxes have to be shared between the center and state. So various methods are there to squeeze the states. So I think broad united platform of all the non-BJP ruled government should come together. There should be a forum so that they can resist this attack on federalism and state rights.
Here in West Bengal, our Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is also alleging the same, and she is saying that center is not providing fund for Awas Yojana and several Manrega, etc. Do you think that her allegation is also having the same validity?
No, there are two types of issues here in West Bengal. Here also, the governors, earlier governor, for example, Jagdeep Dhankar, behaved in an arbitrary fashion. We do not support any governor acting unconstitutionally against an elected government. We may attack we have our own opposition to that elected government, its policies, but it's not for the governor to intervene in those matters. But as far as the centrally sponsored schemes, etc., here in West Bengal, the problem is not that the center has not provided funds, but that funds have not been properly used. It has been misused, or they have been siphoned off for the Awas Yojana or for the Manrega, for example. Manrega, it is a very tragic thing that the people who most desperately need work under the NREGA scheme, they are now not getting any work because the center stopped the funds. Between the fight between the center and states, the rural people who require employment are today deprived of that. So that's a different type of problem.
They are being the victims ultimately. You made a call that in Bengal to fight against BJP and Trinamool Congress simultaneously. But taking other point of view, particularly the religious minority, they may think that to defend, to protect from the attack of BJP, Trinamool Congress is the only option, and those who wants to get rid of from the misrule of Trinamool Congress, they may think that to defend, to protect from the attack of BJP, Trinamool Congress is the only option, and those who wants to get rid of from the misrule of Trinamool Congress, they may think that to defend, to protect from the attack of BJP, Trinamool Congress is the only option, and those who wants to get rid of from the misrule of Trinamool Congress, they may think that to defend, to protect from the attack of BJP, Trinamool Congress is the only option, and those who wants to get rid of from the misrule of Trinamool Congress, they may think that BJP is in power in center, so they are the options. In this context, how will you re-establish the left movement in Bengal?
No, you see, the left movement as an independent force can only grow in Bengal when they fight both the Trinamool and the BJP. You have the Trinamool Congress in government here, in the state government, and you have the BJP in the central government. We are opposed to both the government's policies and anti-democratic actions. In West Bengal, the effort is to see that there is a polarization between the BJP and the Trinamool. So the type of issue that you raised comes up. But as far as the democratic movement as a whole is concerned, we cannot decide to say that TMC is the main enemy, therefore we will take a soft approach to the BJP. Or the BJP is the main enemy, therefore we will be soft towards the TMC. Both of this will harm the interests of the people of Bengal and particularly of the working people of Bengal. So the left has a more difficult task in West Bengal, which is without any respite we fight the Trinamool Congress, because it is the Trinamool Congress and its government which has resorted to the worst form of repression and violence against the left and the CPM. They have sought to suppress our party and movement. So without fighting back that attack, we cannot defend the interests of the people or strengthen and develop our movement. At the same time, in the long run, the BJP is a greater danger, because once the BJP penetrates and establishes its influence in West Bengal, you will find that they are as bad or worse. See what is happening in Tripura, where there is a BJP government. The violence and repression, the terror in Tripura is unleashed by the BJP. So there's not going to be any difference in terms of the character, in terms of the approach to the anti-left approach or the use of violence and terror. There will be no difference between the Congress, the TMC and the BJP. That is why we say that we have to fight both these forces without compromising with either.
We also notice another new trend or a new effort to divide our state again, to separate the northern part of our state. Do you think that it will give a solution to the people? It will meet the aspiration of the people of the northern Bengal?
No, you see, if you look at it, in many big states, you have linguistic and ethnic minorities. And a democratic approach is to see that their culture, their way of life and their special character is also protected. After all, when the Darjeeling movement started for a separate state, the left-front government had worked towards creating this autonomous Hill District Council. The idea being that yes, there are specific ethnic linguistic minorities and they must be given special status or protections. That is why in a state like Tripura we have the Tripura Autonomous District Council, which was also pioneered by the left front, and it was brought within the I think this sixth schedule of the Constitution after struggle. So this is one aspect, that there are genuine problems faced by certain minority groups, you see. It can be ethnic, it can be religious, it can be linguistic. So in North Bengal there have been such some groups which have been advocating separatist, separate entities, etc. So the BJP currently, after the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, particularly after it won number of parliament seats in North Bengal, they have been fanning these separatist sentiments and feelings. You had earlier the Rajbanshi in Kuch Bihar and all those areas, some groups advocating separatism. So now they're trying to create this sort of division, because the BJP, not now, from the beginning, has not accepted the concept of a linguistic based state, that is language based state. They have been asking for small states all over India. In fact, at one time, I think in 1980s, they said there should be 40 states in India, based on more administrative convenience rather than linguistic identity. So for them, they think that since they have got some strength in North Bengal, divide Bengal, that will help them in that new state. It is purely from that angle. But this will be very bad for Bengal. It will destroy the existing identity of Bengal as it exists, and it will also not solve any problem, in the sense that the backwardness in North Bengal or the socio-economic problems that exist in North Bengal is not because they are part of a bigger state and they are being neglected. There are various reasons, historical and otherwise, for the type of problems that are there in North Bengal. So at the same time, recognizing the diversity of the socio-ethnic groups there, you have to create structures which will give those people representation and also be able to fulfill some of their aspirations. How you do that has to be worked out, but it has to be within a unified state. So this will not be helpful at all for West Bengal or for the people of North Bengal, because the logic of this is that you have other groups also. If you have Rajbanshi, then you have other tribal groups. Then each one will start. This trend of separatism will never end. It will get further fragmented. You can't have a unity of North Bengal. There is no identity like North Bengal, you see. So we have seen this in Assam also earlier, that various tribal groups later on asserted their identity when they saw the bigger groups asserting the identity, like Bodo. When Bodos demanded, then later on Ravas and Missing said, we also need separate bodies, autonomous council. So it becomes an endless process of fragmentation rather than uniting people or creating more solidarity among people. So a reasonable approach where the substantial minority groups, they must be given space to have their democratic setup and their own forums for their voicing their own needs and aspirations, and that can be done within a single unified state.
Coming back to the national situation, Rahul Gandhi, he started the Bharat Jodo Jatra, and in the context of the divisive activities of RSS and BJP, how do you see this Bharat Jatra? Will it have any impact on uniting the people of our country?
I think the first point is regarding the Bharat Jodo Yatra led by Rahul Gandhi is that it is a serious effort to revitalize their own party. The Congress party has been steadily on the decline, and it has reached a stage where in some states it's in disarray also now. And I think to overcome that, they planned this yatra, and I think to the extent that it has now covered more than 2/3 of the yatra is over, I think in some states it has helped them to galvanize their grassroots organization and their workers. To that extent, when you're talking about fighting against the BJP and the RSS and its ideology, etc., to the extent that the Congress gets its act together, that's going to overall help the opposition. That's one aspect. Second is, I don't think it is worthwhile to go into this as some media and journalists are speculating whether this will help to increase the electoral base or strength of the Congress. It may in some states, some places help, some places may not help. But overall, I think the Congress party is made this effort to try to, as somebody said, this is first Congress Jodo, then they'll do Bharat Jodo. But Congress Jodo जरूर करने में कामयाब होंगे थोड़ा बहुत, मैं समझता हूँ.
My last question is on the parliament election in 2024, that is next year. So, how do you plan to defeat the BJP in this election? What course of action you will take to defeat the BJP?
You see, people are asking first that will the opposition unite to fight the BJP? Will there be an all-in opposition unity at the national level, all India level, to fight the BJP? That is in the 2024 election. That question or the urge for this is natural because the BJP has become the dominant political party in the country today. It has won 2 successive Lok Sabha elections and got a majority on its own. That has only been done in the earlier days by the Congress party. So we have a one-party dominant system now in the country. That's the reality. So in such a situation, the obvious thing is the entire opposition should be united and put up a one-to-one fight, and that way BJP can be defeated. That is simple logic, yes, but politics does not work that way. It is not simple arithmetic. Even when the Congress was dominant, when it was defeated, there was no all-in opposition unity. But there was a momentum of the opposition because people started coming out, and that momentum created a sort of unity. That is, what people did was, though there will be 2 opposition candidates against the Congress, people would decide this candidate is better, stronger to defeat the Congress and vote for that candidate. So that sort of momentum and unity has to be built up. That can be built up only through struggles, issues, movements. When people start getting roused. After emergency, there was no all-in unity. You see, some people tried to come together, but the Janata Party, people saw the Janata Party, particularly in North India, this is the party which can defeat. So other parties they just ignored and voted for Janata Party. Our issue, the problem is that such a big movement or upsurge is not yet developed. The big Kisan struggle was there, but that Kisan struggle was basically the big mass mobilization was from only 3 states, Punjab, Haryana and part of Uttar Pradesh. So we have to, in this 2023, pick up issues, launch struggles, and that struggles build the maximum unity. You see. There the question does not arise, so-and-so is Congress, so-and-so is this party, that party, etc. If we can get people to come out and it is a united platform, then that will create the momentum for opposition unity. There will be no formal opposition unity at the national level. It is not possible. It won't come together. And that effort will be, according to me, counterproductive. Because there will be, suppose Congress takes the lead and says, let us all unite, only half the opposition parties will go with Congress. Other half will say, we won't come with you. So what is the use of that? So it is better to build up this momentum through united protest platform. Many issues are there in which all the opposition can come together, not inside parliament and outside. You see? So what are those issues? You have to pick up those issues. There the left can play a role in taking a lead, because unlike other parties who see only electoral tactics and election tactics, we are able to say, look, this is an issue on which the masses can be mobilized. Take the issue, all of you come together. In that we won't pick and choose. Anybody who's willing to come on that issue can come. You see, they may not fight elections together later, but on the issue they should be able to join hands with all of us. So that approach we take in 2023, and in 2024, state-wise, given the situation in each state, we can work out the maximum unity possible against the BJP, you see. And that will differ state to state, you see. In some state, there is a regional party which is the main force against the BJP. So, what is the use of building a unity minus that regional party? So you have to try to work to have a broad agreement with the regional party. So our approach should be state-wise, take into account the concrete conditions, and their maximum unity against the BJP and its allies should be achieved. Something like what has now already been done in Bihar, where except for the BJP, all other parties have come together. Once Nitish Kumar and the JDU joined the Mahagathbandhan. To the extent that in Tamil Nadu, all the parties against the AIDMK-BJP alliance have come together. So each state you try to get this maximum unity. I think that is the way we can defeat BJP.
Thank you for giving us so much time. Thank you all.